Oh, well, hello, everybody. This is Barry Jones with SP History. And as you can see, I have a guest. She's not a guest, she's my wife. So, this is a promotional video for the May 13th New Orleans walking tour. And the reason I have my wife with me is because she was my first victim. I took her on the New Orleans walking tour back in I guess it was last summer. And then we went back again in the fall. And so she's been to all the sites and she's heard the spiel. In fact, she was the one holding the camera for all those videos that you guys watched, if you watched them. And so I thought I might have her talk a little bit about her experience uh, in taking this tour for herself, even though she really didn't have any choice.
I did have a choice. In fact, part of it was my idea.
So go ahead.
Oh, well, we had an incredible time. So if I love being married to a history teacher, and I have the best tour guide with me all the time. And you get an opportunity to meet him face to face, um, go to all these incredible sites. I've obviously, because I've been married to him, I've been hearing the JFK stuff for decades. And it was such an incredible experience, even for me. I'm not like crazy into JFK. I'm knowledgeable because of Barry. And it was fascinating to get to go to some of these places and see them in person. It took all the words and actually gave them pictures and gave me experiences. Um, it was really fascinating. I think my favorite thing that we got to see, we actually did this last summer on our bikes, running around town. It was the first time we had been to New Orleans for this project. And the most fascinating spot for me was the creepy building with the Oshner.
The infectious disease lab.
Yeah, the infectious disease lab, because I was surprised how many of these buildings are still as they were then. And while it's kind of shifted and changed a little bit, the wall around it, when we saw the actual lab, it was it was really fascinating to see it. And of course, he gets so excited every time we get near one of these things. He goes off talking about all these stories, and it just made all the pieces come together. There's so many different pieces to this story and to everything that happened that your head can start to swim with all of the details. When you can start to put a place and have an experience, it all starts to fall into place a lot better. And the cool thing is, if you come, you also can ask questions, so you can deviate from maybe um, the typical thing and have, get to ask Barry a lot of questions and interact with him. And I'll be there too. So I just think this is an incredible opportunity to have an experience unlike anything you've had before. I believe we'll be taking the trolley at some point.
Yeah, and I've got the site pulled up here. I'm sharing the site. So I'll put this link in the comment section of the video. And as we scroll down, you can see it's just an Eventbrite ticket. And it answers a lot of questions. It tells you the day and the time. It's on Tuesday, May 13th. Starts at
Mhm.
9 a.m., goes to 3-ish. I don't know when we'll finish. Uh, but we'll start at Audubon Park.
Mhm.
And in our case, we started our tour from Audubon Park as well. We parked our truck there and we got on our bikes from Audubon Park. We rode all the way downtown into the French
You won't
Quarter.
be doing that, don't worry.
We did the entire city on bikes and it was probably what, 95 degrees. It was
It
hot.
was pretty hot,
It
but
was hot.
the cool thing was we started with a picnic in Audubon Park, which was really fun
Yeah.
because, of course, that was the rendezvous point for Lee Harvey Oswald and Judith Barry Baker,
Yeah.
right? And so it was really cool to like start there and have a picnic and just imagine them kind of meeting each other. And, this is an incredible city. So one day with Barry, but there are lots of other experiences there that you're going to want to have. So a
Yeah.
great vacation spot to have some really cool experiences in the city of New
We're trying
Orleans.
to do it early enough in the year
It's
before
not
the
too
heat of the
hot.
summer
Yeah.
really hits. So the purpose to meet at Audubon Park, besides being just a good place to meet, there's a lot of free parking there. So you can park your
Hmm.
vehicles and then we can hop on the trolley and begin our traipse through New Orleans. As I scroll down here, you'll see that I've listed the locations, and they're in a particular order because I'm trying to arrange them in such a way it makes sense geographically so we can follow
Hmm.
our trip can be efficient in its use of time. So Crone's Bar, people don't know what that was. That's a little spot right around the corner from where Lee Harvey Oswald's rental house was. And it's a significant location. So I'll leave it at that. And then we get to our Oswald's rental house right around the corner from Judith Very's rental house. And then we head downtown and we start at Riley Coffee and we make our way behind it into the alleyway and then out the front of the parking garage, which is next door to Riley Coffee. And then that spills us into, the Riley Coffee was the cover job, but then it spills us into Lafayette Square, which is the houses or did house the real purpose of Oswald's summer itinerary in New Orleans. And that all centered around the Newman building, which no longer is there, but we'll go to the location. And from there, we'll hit the Cats and Jammer Bar, which is right next door to the Newman building. And then we'll head uptown to Canal Street. There's a lot of stuff to see on Canal Street with where Oswald leafleted, the International Trade Mart owned by Clay Shaw, the business owned by Carlos Bringier, and then the TV/radio station WDSU was famous for broadcasting all of Oswald's exploits. I think this picture up here, if I scroll back, yeah, this is a WDSU picture here in one of those interviews. Then we'll head into the French Quarter, and the beauty of the French Quarter is there's a lot of really good, important sights to see. But then also that'll be about lunchtime, and there's a lot of different options to eat lunch.
So
in
many
French.
options.
Yeah. So and then before we leave downtown, we'll want to hit the cafe.
Oh, Cafe Monday.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This was so fun. So when we went last year, I told him, I was like, if I'm going to do this all day, the one thing I want before we leave, I've never had a French beignet, like legitimate. And I didn't even somehow know about Cafe Devon. Okay. And he led me to it, and it was so cool. Like you have to have that experience if you're in the French Quarter. The French beignets are made like they're just piping them out every minute. You sit down in this beautiful open air cafe with so many people, and all they serve is French beignets, coffee, or chocolate milk, whichever you prefer. And it's such an incredible experience. It's one of those things when you go to New Orleans, you have to do that thing, and they are incredible.
Yeah. So we'll hit that, and then we'll head to the other end of town, which is what Trina was talking about, and that's the part of the Medical Manhattan Project. So we'll hit Lafayette Avenue first, which are the homes of David Ferry, which served as two of the three labs in the project. The homes look pretty much the same as they did in the 60s. Then across the road to Dr. Mary Sherman's apartment, where she was found murdered but she was a prominent member of the Medical Manhattan team. And then we will go back to Audubon Park because pretty much all of the project took place in the shadows of Audubon Park. Dr. Alton Osner's house is there. His clinic was there. The infectious disease lab that she was talking about is there. And then we'll finish up with the Tree of Life. That has nothing to do with the JFK assassination. It has everything to do with just saying you saw it. It's pretty incredible.
It is pretty amazing.
Pretty incredible. So
it's over 500 years. Is it 500 years?
It's old.
Okay, it's really, really old, and it's amazing. Just went blank.
It's a
live oak.
A Texas live oak, yeah. All right, I've put a few frequently asked questions, how we get around. This is something to note. You might want to get online if you're planning on doing this and get a trolley ticket in advance for that day, so you're not hassling with that on that day. because we will use the trolley. If you want to use bikes, you can bring your bike. That's fine. I would love to bring my bike, but I can't get ahead of the group, and I would. So I will do the trolley with my wife, and if you want a bike, and we'll give you the locations, you can meet us there. That's fine. We've already said what we're going to do for lunch. What if it rains? We do it anyway, rain or shine. What should you bring? There's a couple necessities. Obviously, we're going to eat lunch, so you'll need some money for lunch and the trolley. Bring water because it may be warm. It may be hot, like I said, and you'll want to hydrate. Rain gear in case it's supposed to rain. Bring a hat or some sunglasses because the sun does shine in New Orleans. And then some comfortable shoes
Yeah.
to walking in.
Comfortable clothes, comfortable shoes.
All right, so this is on May 13th, and it's open to anybody. And please be on time. We're trying to leave on time. We got a full day. And depending on how this goes, we're going to offer either a second one in the same city that month, if that proves to be something that's worth it. And then we're definitely going to offer one in November, this next November in Dallas. We're going to do the same thing. And in Dallas, you pretty much don't have to leave the downtown. I mean,
it's amazing how close everything is there.
Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to put my wife on today because she, it's one thing for me to get excited about doing a tour or going to all these locations. She's really doesn't have any dog in this fight except the fact that she's married to a crazy person when it comes to this. So she was probably on the side of being a little bit skeptical, but I think she enjoyed it. She rode that city with me on her bike.
It was fun. I felt like Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys as we were biking through the city, finding all these secret locations. And it was pretty fascinating. But again, it really brought all the words, being able to actually see the places and then where they are in location in the city and different pockets that are really close together, realizing how they, basically you're walking through a day in the life of Lee Harvey Oswald and what he did. And it starts to make sense, maybe some other details that maybe you've glossed over many times as Barry was talking about it. But when you see it and how each thing plays out, then it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I think she's talking about the three clusters. You got the downtown cluster, you got the French Quarter cluster, and then you got the
and the same is
Medical Manhattan cluster, which is on the edge of town.
Yeah, and the same is true of the Dallas one. Just to preview that I've never been to Dallas. I've heard him talk so many times about it, but to actually see it in person, how close, like you can just, it was unbelievable. So you definitely want to sign up for that one.
All right, so that's that. I hope to see as many people. I hear from you. I respond to your texts and your messages when I can, as soon as I can. But it'd sure be nice to meet some of you people and actually go through the tour and
have lunch together.
Yeah, it'd be a good time. So, and boy, I tell you what, when you talk about gourmet food and gumbo and what's the thing, the black beans and rice.
Oh, yeah, he loves the red beans and
red beans and rice. Oh my goodness, it's so good. It's so good.
Food, guys. So he gets as excited about that as he does JFK.
So I don't know how long lunch will run, but it may extend a little bit past the.
And if you guys have questions that he's not thought of asking, make sure you ask them in the comments section so he can address that. Because chances are, if you have that question, someone else has that question too.
Yep. All right. Hope to see you there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. I look forward to meeting you guys.
Until then, God bless.